Okay, welcome to the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge for the second week of April. We have 5 players with us now today. Hopefully, some more people will show up, but hope everyone's had a good week. We will go ahead and start now. We'll do the same thing we did last week, but we're switching how round 2 and 3 go. Round 1, as always, will be monologues. So I don't have to go back and forth again. I spun in advance for the names, so everyone. Danielle just joined us. She's the one that's going to go first. The random order that we'll do that was determined in advance will be Danielle, Maggie, Bill, Elizabeth, Alex, Paul, Sheila, myself, and Henry. And I don't see Henry here, so I think I'm going to be last today. So anyway, Danielle will be our first up, and she will perform and Maggie's not here, so I'll mention Bill, therefore, will be on deck. Okay, so Rosalind, and As You Like It, You Foolish Shepherd, Act 3, Scene 5, approximately 40 lines in. So.
I'm sorry, please bear with me while I try to get that up. Okay. I was a little late today, apologies.
No problem. You were here just on time to do your monologue since you were supposed to go first, so it's perfect. So it's Act 3, Scene 5. I believe it begins with You Foolish Shepherd, Rosalind.
Act 3, Scene 5. Right here. So it's halfway through the speech, or shall I go from the start of the speech?
No, actually, you can go from the start of the speech. Better yet. So whenever you're ready, go for it.
And why, I pray you? Who might be your mother, that you insult, exalt, and all at once over the wretched? What? Though you have no beauty, as by my faith I see no more in you than without candle may go dark to bed, must you be therefore proud and pitiless? Why, what means this? Why do you look on me? I see no more in you than in the ordinary of nature's sail work. Odds my little life, I think she means to tangle my eyes too. Oh, no, faith, proud mistress, hope not after it. 'Tis not your inky brows, your black silk hair, your bugle eyeballs, nor your cheek of cream that can entame my spirits to your worship. Oh, you foolish shepherd, wherefore do you follow her? Like foggy south puffing with wind and rain. You are 1,000 times a properer man than she a woman. 'Tis such fools as you that makes the world full of ill-favoured children. 'Tis not her glass, but you that flatters her, and out of you she sees herself more proper than any of her lineaments can show her. But, mistress, know yourself, down on your knees and thank heaven fasting for a good man's love. For I must tell you friendly in your ear, sell when you can, you are not for all markets. Cry the man mercy, love him, take his offer. Foul is most foul, being foul to be a scoffer. So take her to thee, shepherd, fare you well.
Okay, very nice. Next up is, so Bill is up now. Maggie is on, I'm sorry, Bill is up next, and Elizabeth is on deck. And Bill is going to perform. The porter. Awesome. Scene 3 from the very beginning.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry, what was the acting scene?
Act 2, scene 3, I believe. I closed it out. I thought you.
I got it. Okay.
Oh, you got it? Okay, so let me
Yep.
take it out, and then whenever you're ready. Okay.
Does that work?
Worked great.
Okay. Here's a knocking indeed. If a man were porter of Hellgate, he should have old Jor turning the key. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? In the name of Beelzebub. He's a farmer that hanged himself on the expectation of plenty. Coming time. Have napkins now about you. Here you'll sweat for it. Knock, knock. Who's there in the other devil's name? Faith. Here's an equivocator that could swear in both the scales against either scale, who committed treason enough for God's sake, yet could not equivocate to heaven. Come in, equivocator. Who's there? Faith. Here's an English tailor come thither for stealing out a French hose. Come in, tailor. Here you may roast your goose. Knock, knock. Never a quiet. What are you? But this place is too cold for hell. I'll never porter it no further. I had thought to have let in some of all professions that go the primrose way to the everlasting bonfire. Anon, anon. I pray you, remember the porter.
Okay, that's great. Next, okay, so Elizabeth is going to be. So Elizabeth is now up. Alex, you're on deck, and Elizabeth is going to perform. Now is the winter of our discontent.
I don't think I've ever said this one.
Yeah, that's a good gender bending one for a woman to. I think that this has been. I think recently, there was an all female production of this. So okay. So let me create the banner. So it's very, very top of the play.
Yeah. You can see me?
Yes. So whenever you're ready, go for it.
Okay. Now is the winter of our discontent made glorious summer by this sun of York. And all the clouds that lowered upon our house in the deep bosom of the ocean buried. Now are our brows bound with victorious wreaths, our bruised arms hung up for monuments, our stern alarms changed to merry meetings, our dreadful marches to delightful measures. Grim-visaged war hath smoothed his wrinkled front, and now, instead of mounting barbed steeds to fright the souls of fearful adversaries, he capers nimbly in a lady's chamber to the lascivious pleasing of a lute. But I, that am not shaped for sportive tricks, nor made to court an amorous looking glass, I that am rudely stamped, and want love's majesty to strut before a wanton ambling nymph. I that am curtailed of this fair proportion, cheated of feature by dissembling nature, deformed, unfinished, sent before my time into this breathing world, scarce half made up, and that so lamely and unfashionable that dogs bark at me as I halt by them. Why, I, in this weak, peeping time of peace, have no delight to pass away the time, unless to spy my shadow in the sun, and descant on mine own deformity. And therefore, since I cannot prove a lover, to entertain these fair, well-spoken days, I am determined to prove a villain, and hate the idle pleasures of these days. Plots have I laid, inductions dangerous by drunken prophecies, libels, and dreams, to set my brother Clarence and the king in deadly hate, the one against the other. And if King Edward be as true and just as I am subtle, false, and treacherous, this day should Clarence closely be mewed up about a prophecy which says that G of Edward's heirs the murderer shall be. Dive thoughts down to my soul. Here comes Clarence.
Very nice. I like the dramatic yawn. That was an interesting choice to put in there. I've never had it. Everyone always something new to.
Yeah, I'd never said those words out loud before. It's amazing how it's like jumping on a moving train, that speech. You're jumping on and you're like, I have no idea where we're going or what's going to happen, but I'm going. I'm hanging on for the ride. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So fun.
While you were performing, Henry did join us, so I'm glad you made it, Henry. I spun the order. It works out fine. We didn't miss you. You actually, I'm second to last, and you're last of monologues, so you didn't miss your chance to go. So anyway, up next, Alex is up, and then Shelia is on deck after Alex. So Alex is going. Hello. Oops, I forgot to put the wheel in. Alex is going to perform. Okay, Lady Hotspur, Henry IV, Part 1, Act 2, Scene 3, about 35 lines in. Lady Hotspur.
Okay, go for it.
I think, remember the last time this came up, I had a typo on it that's since been fixed, so it's not embarrassing. It doesn't still say Lady Hotsput. So, have you found it?
Just a second. Lady Percy. All right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lady, also known as Lady Percy. So, whenever you're ready, go for it.
Oh, my good lords, why are you thus alone? For what offense have I this fortnight been a banished woman from my Harry's bed? Tell me, sweet lord, what is that takes from thee thy stomach, pleasure, and thy golden sleep? Why dost thou bend thine eyes upon the earth, and start so often when thou sittst alone? Why hast thou lost a fresh blood in thy cheeks, and given my treasures and my rights of thee to ticket, musing, and cursed melancholy? In thy faint slumbers I by thee have watched, and heard thee murmur tales of iron wars, speak terms of marriage to thy bounding stead, cry courage to the field, and thou hast talked of sallies and tires, of trenches, tents, of palisadoes, frontiers, parapets, of basilisks, of cannon, covering, of prisoners' ransom, and of soldiers slain, and all the currents of a heady fight. The spirit with thee had been so at war, and thus had so bestirred thee in thy sleep, that beads of sweat have stood upon thy brow, like bubbles in a late disturbed stream, and in thy face strange motions have appeared, such as we see when men restrain their breath on some great sudden haste. Oh, what portents are these? Some heavy business had my lord in hand, and I must know it, else he loves me not. End scene.
Okay, very nice. So Shelia, it's your turn, then I will be next, and then Henry, and then we'll move on to our scenes. So Shelia is going to perform Paulina. So what studied torments from the Winter's Tale, Act 3, Scene 2. It's about 185 lines in is when it starts.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. This is a goodie.
You like this one, huh?
This is intense. All right.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, go for it.
What studied torments, tyrant, hast for me? What wheels, racks, fires, what flaying, boiling, in leads or oils? What old or newer tortures must I receive, whose every word deserves to taste of thy most worst? Thy tyranny together working with thy jealousies, fancies too weak for boys, too green and idle for girls of 9. Oh, think what they have done, and then run mad, indeed, stark mad, for all thy bygone fooleries were but spices of it. That thou betrayedst Polixenes, 'twas nothing. That did but show thee of a fool, inconstant and damnable, ingrateful. Nor was it much. Thou wouldst have poisoned good Camillo's honor to have him kill a king. Poor trespasses, more monstrous standing by, whereof I reckon the casting forth to crows thy baby daughter to be none or little, though a devil would have shed water out of fire ere done. Nor is directly laid to thee the death of the young prince, whose honorable thoughts thou'st high for one so tender, cleft the heart that could conceive a gross and foolish sire, blemished his gracious dam. This is not, no, laid to thy answer, but the last. O lords, when I have said, cry woe the queen, the sweetest, dearest creature, dead, and vengeance for it not dropped down yet.
Okay, very nice. So I am up next, and then Henry is on deck to finish up before we go on to scenes. So I will be doing Gertrude from Hamlet. There is a willow. Okay, about Ophelia's death. Awesome. Okay. There is a willow grows aslant a brook that shows as hoar leaves in the glassy stream. There, with fantastic garlands did she come, over crowflowers, nettles, daisy, and long purples. that liberal shepherds give a grosser name. But our cold maids do dead men's fingers call them. There, on the pendant boughs her coronet weeds, clamoring to hang. Envious sliver broke, when down her weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like awhile they broke her up. Each time she chanted snatches of old times, as one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature native and imbued into the element. Long it could not be, till that her garments, heavy with their drink, pulled the poor wretch from her melodious lay to muddy death. Okay, thanks everybody. And our final monologue before we switch to scenes will be done by Henry. And Henry is going to do Edmund from King Lear, Thou nature art my goddess. Beginning of scene 2 in King Lear.
1, 2, 1.
So
Okay, got it. Right.
Okay, whenever you're ready, go.
So Edmund's the evil one, isn't he?
Yeah, yes, the bastard brother, the evil one.
I always think it should be Edgar, because Edgar sounds more like the bastard brother than Edmund, who sounds very peaceful. But anyway, neither here nor there. Thou, nature, art my goddess. To thy law my services are bound. Wherefore should I stand in the plague of custom, and permit the curiosity of nations to deprive me, for that I am some 12 or 14 moonshines lag of a brother? Why bastard? Wherefore base? When my dimensions are as well compact, my mind as generous, and my shape as true as honest madam's issue. Why brand they us with baseness, bastardy, base? Who in the lusty stealth of nature take more composition and fierce quality than doth within a dull, stale, tired bed go to the creating a whole tribe of fops got between the sleep and wake? Well then, legitimate Edgar, I must have your land. Our father's love is to the bastard Edmund as to the legitimate. Fine word, legitimate. Well, my legitimate, if this letter speed and my invention thrive, Edmund the base shall top the legitimate. I grow. I prosper. Now, gods, stand up for bastards.
Nice.
Fun?
I don't know why. I guess we all have our own reasons for why certain names have connotations that sound evil. But it's interesting that you had that feeling. I didn't share it, but we all have.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we will switch to here's the scenes with 4 to 6 players, and what we'll do as a group will be. Okay, Romeo and Juliet, Act 1, Scene 5. Okay, yeah. So it's this, I believe, is Romeo and Juliet meeting, and so it's. But there's other things around. It's so it would start with. Oh wait, we're going to cut. So we'll have 5 players in this. So Romeo, Juliet. There's also Capulet and Tybalt. When Tybalt recognizes him, says, "I will not endure him," and the nurse also has a role. So we're going to cut Benvolio. I think he's too small there. So so Romeo, Juliet, Capulet, Tybalt, and Nurse. Those are the. Well, let's find. I'm going to find the scene. We shall all be doing that. Act 1, Scene 5. Let's figure out where we're going to start from. Yeah, so it would start with it would start with Romeo first spotting Juliet. We'll start with, "Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn." He's seeing her, but she doesn't see him yet. Then Tybalt comes in, recognizes Romeo, and goes to his uncle, asking him to throw him out of the party. So let's see. So now ready to go to the wheel with our names to choose which order we'll get to choose the roles in this. Okay, so the first person in this scene will be so I get first choice. I'll go ahead and take Romeo. So I've given myself Romeo, and the next choice will be Elizabeth. Oops.
Do I get to pick?
Yeah, your choice.
Capulet?
Okay, so Elizabeth is going to be Lord Capulet. Okay. The next person with the next choice will be. So Romeo and Capulet are taken. Danielle gets the next choice. Danielle, what would you like?
I'll go for Tybalt, please.
You'll take what? Tybalt?
Tybalt, yes.
Okay.
Is my mic at the right thing, or should I turn it up a little?
You sound good to me. So we still have Juliet and the nurse to add. Okay, Henry, what would you like? Juliet?
Juliet, please, Juliet.
Okay. And so that leaves the nurse will be. Maggie's not here. Okay, so Bill. Okay. So everyone's familiar with their roles and is ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, let me put the tag on here. Okay. Oh, he doth teach the torches to burn bright. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of night, like a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. Beauty too rich for use, for earth too dear. She shows a snowy dove trooping with crows, as yonder lady o'er her fellows shows. The measure done, I'll watch her place of stand, and touching hers, make blessed my rude hand. Did my heart love till now? Forswear its sight, for I ne'er saw true beauty till this night.
This, by his voice, should be a Montague. Fetch me my rapier, boy. What dares the slave come hither covered with an antic face to fleer and scorn at our solemnity? Now, by the stock and honour of my kin, to strike him dead, I hold it not a sin.
Why, how now, kinsman, wherefore storm you so?
Uncle, this is a Montague, our foe, a villain that is hither come in spite to scorn at our solemnity this night.
Young Romeo, is it?
'Tis he, that villain Romeo.
Content thee, gentle coz, let him alone. He bears him like a portly gentleman, and to say truth, Verona brags of him to be a virtuous and well-governed youth. I would not for the wealth of all this town, here in my house, do him disparagement. Therefore, be patient, take no note of him. It is my will, which if thou respect, show a fair presence, and put off these frowns, an ill-beseeming semblance for a feast.
It fits when such a villain is a guest. I'll not endure him.
He shall be endured. What, goodman boy, I say he shall. Go to. Am I the master here or you? Go to. You'll not endure him. God shall mend my soul. You'll make a mutiny among my guests. You will set cock-a-hoop. You'll be the man.
Why, uncle, 'tis a shame.
Go to. You are a saucy boy. Is it so indeed? This trick may chance to scathe you, I know what. You must contrary me. Marry, 'tis time. Well said, my hearts. You are a pringcock's go. Be quiet, or more light, For shame, I'll make you quiet. What? Cheerly, my hearts.
Patience perforce with wilful collar meeting makes my flesh tremble in a different greeting. I will withdraw. But this intrusion shall, now seeming sweet, convert to bitter gall.
If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle fine is this: my lips to blushing pilgrims ready stand, to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss.
Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much, which mannerly devotion shows in this. For saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss.
Have not saints lips and holy palmers too?
Aye, pilgrim, lips that they must use in prayer.
Oh, then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do. They pray, grant thou, lest faith turn to despair.
Saints do not move, though grant for prayer's sake.
Then move not, while my prayers effect I take. Thus, from my lips, by yours, my sin is purged.
Then have my lips the sin that they have took.
Sin from thy lips? O trespass sweetly urged, give me my sin again.
You kiss by the book?
Madam, your mother craves a word with you.
What is her mother?
Mary Bachelor, her mother is the lady of the house, and a good lady, and a wise, and a virtuous. I nursed her daughter that you talk withal. I tell you, he that can lay hold of her shall have the chinks.
Is she a Capulet? Oh, dear account, my life is my foe's debt. So I fear, the more is my unrest.
Nay, gentlemen, prepare not to be gone. We have a trifling foolish banquet afterwards. Is it even so? Why, then, I thank you all. I thank you, honest gentlemen. Good night. More torches here. Come on, then. Let's to bed. Ah, sirrah, by my fay, it waxes late. I'll to my rest.
Come hither, nurse. What is yon gentleman?
the son and heir of old Tiberial.
What, he that now is going out the door?
Marry that, I think, be young Petruchio.
What's he that follows there that would not dance?
I know not.
Go ask his name, if he be married. My grave is like to be my wedding bread.
His name is Romeo, and a Montague, the only son of your great enemy.
My only love sprang from my only hate. Too early seen unknown, and known too late. Prodigious birth of love it is to me that I must love a loathed enemy.
What's this? What's this?
A rhyme I learned even now of one I danced withal.
Anon, anon. Come, let's wed. The strangers are all gone.
Fun.
Okay, that was a lot of fun. Okay, so back to this to see who. The first, Alex and Shelia were the two who were left out of the scene, so they will get the first two choices. Let's spin to see which of the two of them will get the first choice. And so the first choice when we do the remaining scenes will be Shelia. So it'll be Shelia. So we'll go in the reverse order. Shelia, first choice. Alex will get the second choice. Then Bill, Henry, Danielle, Elizabeth, and I'll get last choice of the smaller scenes. So let's see, with 7 of us, so we'll spin enough to get enough scenes for all of us to play some role. Open. Okay, so the scenes we'll do. I'm going to write them down as they come up so that we can know the. Okay, so Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1, Hamlet and Ophelia. So those are 2 roles. We'll do Hamlet and Ophelia. That covers 2 of us. Henry VI, Part 3. Richard and King Henry VI. That's where Richard, before the Winter of Our Discontent monologue that we just did today, is plotting. Henry 6.3, Act 5, Scene 6. So 2 roles there. Richard and Henry VI. So we'll do Hamlet, then we'll do Henry VI, Part 3. Then we will do. Okay, perfect. So that'll cover all 7 of us. So this next one will be a 3-person scene. So that way we have exactly 7 roles to cast, and there's 7 of us. So Romeo and Juliet. This is where Juliet comes to the friar, and he concocts his plan that goes haywire, of course. But Paris is there at the beginning, thinking he's going to marry her. So the friar, Juliet, and Paris. So those 7 roles to cast, and I told you the order in which we'll choose them. So I get last choice. So we got Hamlet and Ophelia. We got Richard, who at the time is still Duke of Gloucester, and King Henry VI. And then we have the friar, Juliet, and Paris. So let's see. So I said Shelia. So Shelia has the first choice. Shelia, what would you like to perform out of those roles?
Oh my goodness. I don't want to jinx Richard III, but Elizabeth had so much fun with it. I want to do Richard III in.
Okay, so you want to play Richard?
I do.
Okay, great. So Richard is assigned. Alex has the next choice. Alex.
I would like to play Hamlet.
Okay, so Alex will be Hamlet. And then our next, Bill has the next choice. Bill, what would you like?
How about the friar?
Oh, good choice. Next choice, Henry. What would you like? Henry, I think you're muted.
No, I'll do Henry. Henry's 6.
Okay, Henry. Take one of you out to put Danielle in. Danielle, you have next choice.
I'm sorry, could you remind me? The Henry this has gone.
Yeah, Henry. So the roles we have left is in the final scene. We have Juliet, and we have Paris, and then we have Ophelia in the Hamlet scene.
Ophelia, thank you.
Okay, and I'll do Ophelia, and so the remaining 2 roles are Juliet and Paris. It's and Elizabeth.
Uh,
I thought I put her in. Elizabeth, what would you like to play between Juliet or Paris?
Juliet.
Okay, so
just tell me what scene it is.
That's the last. Or do you need to go early? We can.
No. I'm fine.
Because if you have to go early, we'll do the Romeo and Juliet scene first. And so.
No, I'm fine today. It's the last.
And so that leaves me to be Paris. Okay, so our first scene, therefore, will be Hamlet act. So it'll be from the conclusion of the when to be or not to be finishes, and he says, "Soft you now, the fair Ophelia." We'll start with "Soft you now, the fair Ophelia," and Ophelia comes in. So let's see. Let me take everybody out except for so Alex and Danielle are going to do that one.
I'm sorry, could you give me the act and scene, please?
Act 3, Scene 1.
It starts with "to be or not to be," and we'll take it from when that monologue finishes. And do go ahead and say the concluding part where Ophelia enters and he says, "Soft you now, the fair Ophelia." So let me create the banner for that, and then you guys can start when. Okay, so whenever you guys are ready.
Do you have the scene?
I'm just finding the place.
All right, let me know when you're ready.
Yes.
Okay. Soft you now, the fair Ophelia, nymph of thy horizons, be all my sins remembered.
Good my lord, how does your honour for this many a day?
I humbly thank you. Well.
My lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have longed to redeliver. I pray you now receive them.
No, not I. I never gave you oath.
My honoured lord, you know right well you did. And with them words of so sweet breath composed as made the things more rich. Their perfume lost, take these again, for to the noble mind rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There, my lord.
Ha! Are you honest?
My lord?
Are you fair?
What means your lordship?
That if you be honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty.
Could beauty, my lord, have better commerce than with honesty?
Aye, truly, for the power of beauty will sooner transform honesty from what it is to about than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. This was sometime a paradox, but now the time gives it proof. I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so.
You should not have believed me, for virtue cannot so inoculate our old stock, but we shall relish of it. I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that it were better my mother had not borne me. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offences at my back than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do crawling between earth and heaven? We aren't knaves, believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where is your father?
At home, my lord.
Let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fool no where but in his own house. Farewell.
Oh, help him, sweet heavens!
If thou dost marry, I'll give thee this plague for thy dowry. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow, thou shalt not escape calumny. Get thee to a nunnery, farewell! Or if thou wilt needs marry a fool, for wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery go, and quickly too, farewell!
Oh, heavenly powers restore him!
I have heard of your paintings well enough. God hath given you one face, and you make yourself another. You jig and amble, and you lisp, you nickname God's creatures, and make your own wantonness your ignorance. Go, go, I'll no more on it. It hath made me mad. I say we will have no more marriage. Those are the married already, all but one shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery, go!
Oh, what a noble mind is here o'erthrown! Courtiers, soldiers, scholars, eye, tongue, sword, the expectancy and rose of the fair state, the glass of fashion and mould of form, the observed of all observers, quite down. And I, of ladies most deject and wretched, that sucked the honey of his music vows, now see that noble and most sovereign reason, like sweet bells jangled, out of tune and harsh, that unmatched form and feature of blown youth, blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me, to have seen what I have seen, see what I see.
Okay, great job, you guys. Next we have, next we're going to do, Richard, Duke of Gloucester, soon to be King Richard III, Richard of Gloucester, and King Henry VI in his imprisonment. That's going to be, so Henry is going to be King Henry, and Shelia called Richard. So the two of you will do that one. So still have one person in the stream. So whenever you guys are ready, you can go for it with that scene.
Okay. Are you ready, Henry?
Yeah.
Good day, my lord. What, at your book so hard?
Hi, my good lord. My lord, I should say rather, 'tis sin to flatter. Good was little better. Good Gloucester and good evil were alike, and both preposterous. Therefore not, good lord.
Sirrah, leave us to ourselves. We must confer.
So flies the reckless shepherd from the wolf. So first the harmless sheep doth yield his fleece, and next his throat unto the butcher's knife. What scene of death has Roscius now to act?
Oh, suspicion always haunts the guilty mind. The thief doth fear each bush an officer.
The bird that hath been limed in the bush, with trembling wings misdoubteth every bush. And I, the hapless male, to one sweet bird have now the fatal object in my eye, where my poor young was limed, was caught and killed.
Why, what a peevish fool was that of Crete that taught his son the office of a fowl. And yet, for all his wings, the fool was drowned.
Aye, Daedalus, my poor boy, Icarus, thy father, Minos, that denied our course. The sun that seared the wings of my sweet boy, thy brother Edward, and thyself, the sea whose envious gulf did swallow up his life. Oh, kill me with thy weapon, not with words. My breast can better brook thy dagger's point than can my ears that tragic history. But wherefore dost thou come? Is it for my life?
Oh, thinkst thou I am an executioner?
A persecutor, I am sure thou art. If murdering innocents be executing, why, then thou art an executioner.
Thy son I killed for his presumption.
Hadst thou been killed when first thou did presume, thou hadst not lived to kill a son of mine. And thus I prophesy that many a thousand which now mistrust no parcel of my fear, and many an old man's sigh, and many a widow's, and many an orphan's water-standing eye, men for their sons, wives for their husbands, and orphans for their parents, timeless death shall rue the hour that ever thou wast born. The owl shrieketh at thy birth, an evil sign. The night crow cried, a boding, luckless time. Dogs howled, and hideous tempest shook down trees. The raven rooked her on the chimney's top, and chattering pies in dismal discord sung. Thy mother felt more than a mother's pain, and yet brought forth less than a mother's hope, to which an indigested and deformed lump, not like the fruit of such a goodly tree, teeth hast thou in thy head when thou wast born, to signify thy camest to bite the world. And if the rest be true which I have heard, thou camest...
I'll hear no more. Die, prophet, in thy speech.
Oh,
For this amongst the rest I was ordained.
I am for much more slaughter after this, and God forgive my sins, and pardon thee.
What will the aspiring blood of Lancaster sink in the ground? I thought it would have mounted. See how my sword sweeps for the poor king's death. Oh, may such purple tears be always shed from those that wish the downfall of our house. If any spark of life be yet remaining, down to hell, and say I sent thee thither. I that have neither pity, love, nor fear. Indeed, 'tis true that Henry told me of, or I have often heard my mother say I came into the world with my legs forward. Had I not reason, think ye, to make haste and seek their ruin that usurped our right? Even midwife wondered, and the women cried, "Oh, Jesus bless us, he's born with teeth." And so I was, which plainly signified that I should snarl and bite and play the dog. Then, since the heavens have shaped my body so, let hell make crooked my mind to answer it. I have no brother. I am like no brother. And this word, love, which graybeards call divine, be resident in men like one another, and not in me. I am myself alone. Clarence, beware. Thou keep'st me from the light, but I will sort a pitchy day for thee. For I will buzz abroad such prophecies that Edward shall be fearful of his life, and then to purge his fear, I'll be thy death. King Henry and the prince his son are gone. Clarence, thy turn is next, and then the rest. Counting myself but bad till I be best. I'll throw thy body in another room and triumph, Henry, in thy day of doom.
That's awesome. I love putting in the evil laugh too to add to the scene. Okay, so lastly, we'll do the scene from Act 4, Scene 1 from Romeo and Juliet. So it's Bill is the friar, I am Paris, and Elizabeth is Juliet. I'll recreate the banner, but I accidentally deleted it. Okay, and I will go ahead. With only 3 of us, it starts with just the friar and Elizabeth, are you still with us?
Yes, I was getting ready for my entrance.
Okay, yeah. What I'll do is, since there's only 3 of us, it's easier for me to act. And what I'm thinking, I had a problem with, it is so much better if I can set it up so that only the people who are on stage are the people we can see, and then we can see them bigger. It was hard for me to act in the big scene and still do that, but I'm going to think about that over the next week. Maybe I'll even think about just saying for that round I won't play. I'll strictly be the stage manager who manages the entrances and exits and let everybody else play. But for the purpose of this, we'd start with myself, and then Juliet comes in. I will add you back to the stream when it says enter Juliet, and I'll take myself out when Paris kisses her and leaves. So I will take you out. So we'll start with the 2 of us. Bill, are you ready to start?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to remove Elizabeth so we can start. Okay.
On Thursday, sir. The time is very short.
My father Capulet will have it so, and I am nothing slow to slack its haste.
You say you do not know the lady's mind. Uneven is the course. I like it not.
Immoderately she weeps for Tybalt's death, and therefore have I little talked of love. For Venus smiles not in a house of tears. Now, sir, her father counts it dangerous that she doth give her sorrow so much sway, and in his wisdom hastes our marriage, to stop the inundation of her tears, which too much minded by herself alone, may put from her by society. Now do you know the reason of this haste?
I would I knew not why it should be slowed. Look here, sir. Here comes the lady towards myself.
Happily met, my lady, and my wife.
That may be, sir, when I may be a wife.
That may be, must be, love. On Thursday next.
What must be shall be.
That's a certain text.
Come you to make confession to this father?
To answer that, I should confess to you.
Do not deny to him that you love me.
I will confess to you that I love him.
So will ye, I am sure, that you love me.
If I do so, it will be of more price being spoke behind your back than to your face.
Poor soul, thy face is much abused with tears.
The tears have got small victory by that, for it was bad enough before their spite.
Thou wrong'st it more than tears with that report.
That is no slander, sir, which is a truth. And what I spake it to my face.
Thy face is mine, and thou hast slandered it.
It may be so, for it is not mine own. Are you at leisure, Holy Father, now, or shall I come to you at evening mass?
My leisure serves me, pensive daughter, now. My lord, we must treat the time alone.
God shield I should disturb devotion. Juliet, on Thursday early will I rouse ye. Till then, adieu, and keep this holy kiss.
Oh, shut the door, and when thou hast done so, come weep with me past hope, past care, past help.
Ah, Julia, I already know thy grief. It strains me past the compass of my wits. I hear thou must, and nothing may prorogue it, on Thursday next be married to this county.
Tell me not, friar, that thou hearest of this, unless thou tell me how I may prevent it. If in thy wisdom thou canst give no help, do thou but call my resolution wise, and with this knife I will help it presently. God joined my heart and Romeo's, thou our hands, and ere this hand by thee to Romeo sealed shall be the label to another deed. Or my true heart with treacherous revolt turn to another, this shall slay them both. Therefore, out of thy long experience time, give me some present counsel. Or behold, twixt my extremes and me, this bloody knife shall play the empire, arbitrating that which the commission of thy years and art could to no issue of true honor bring. Be not so long to speak, I long to die, if what thou speak not of remedy.
Hold, daughter, I do spy a kind of hope, which craves as desperate an execution as that is desperate which we would prevent. If rather than to marry County Paris, thou hast the strength of will to slay thyself, then it is likely thou will undertake a thing like death, to chide away this shame that copes with death himself to escape from it. And if thou darest, I'll give thee remedy.
Oh, bid me leap rather than marry Paris from off the battlements of any tower, or walk in thievish waves, or bid me lurk where serpents are, chain me with roaring bears, or hide me nightly in a charnel house, overcovered quite with dead men's rattling bones, with rinky shanks and yellow chapless skulls. Or bid me go into a new-made grave and hide me with a dead man in his shroud, things that to hear them told have made me tremble, and I will do it without fear or doubt, to live an unstained wife to my sweet love.
Hold then. Go home. Be merry. Give consent to marry Paris. Wednesday is tomorrow. Tomorrow night, look that thou lie alone. Let not thy nurse lie with thee in thy chamber. Take thou this vial. Being then in bed, and this distilled liquor drink thou off. When presently through all thy veins shall run a cold and drowsy humor, for no pulse shall keep his native progress, but surcease. No warmth, no breath shall testify thou livest. The roses in thy cheeks, thy lips and cheeks, shall fade to paly ashes. Thy eyes, windows fall like death when he shuts up the day of life. Each part, deprived of supple government, shall, stiff and stark and cold, appear like death. And in this borrowed likeness of shrunk death, thou shalt continue 42 hours, and then awake as from a pleasant sleep. Now, when the bridegroom in the morning comes to rouse thee from thy bed, there art thou dead. Then, as the manner of our country is, in thy best robes uncovered on the bier, thou shalt be borne to that same ancient vault where all the kindred of Capulet lie. In the meantime, against shall by my letters know of our drift. Hither shall he come, and he and I will watch thy waking, And that very night shall Romeo bear thee hence to Mantua, and this shall free thee from this present shame, if no inconstant toy nor womanish fear abate thy valor in the acting of it.
Give me, oh, tell me not a fear.
Hold. Get you gone. Be strong and prosperous. In this resolve, I'll send a friar with speed to Mantua with my letters to thy lord.
Love give me strength, and strength shall help afford. Farewell, dear father.
Okay, awesome. So that was good. I think that worked better with the little change we made. And the one I proposed is one we can think about a little bit over the next week, if that would be better if I just didn't perform in the big scene and I could exclusively be focused on managing the entrances and exits. Although what would also make it easier for that, and this is something else to consider, is that one thing that I don't think you have to be me in order to do is when you tap the three dots, is you can rename yourself. It would also help if, at least for the big scene, if you rename yourself as the name of your character rather than your own name. So that way I could easily, even if I am just managing the entrances and exits, put the wrong person in. But if you've actually put the name of your character rather than the name of yourself, I'd be a lot less likely to make a mistake. So there's 7 of us. I can't have us all in the stream at once. So I want to conclude, as always, by saying, does anybody have any announcements or anything that I'll ask you to, and then I'll put the remaining people in, and then we'll sign off. Elizabeth and Bill, you got anything you wanted to announce before we go? Okay.
I just found the 3 dots. I was wondering what you were talking about, but I figured it out.
Okay, good. Okay, anybody else have anything they wanted to say or announce that's coming up, something similar before we finish?
Yeah, it was fun having the scenes.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever mentioned open mic to you, Shakespeare open mic to you, Mark? Because several of us are in that, and that happens Thursdays at 12 noon. It's a British group. But so it's for you or for the other people here. I was just thinking it's a great place to you just bring a scene along, or bring a scene with somebody else or yourself, or do a random scene.
But why don't you go ahead and send that information to me, and I can pass it along. I can put it as a comment to this video on YouTube to announce to other people as well. That sounds. And I was going to respond. I would have loved to do your Alice in Wonderland thing. That sounded a lot of fun, but it was on Easter. Just wasn't a good time. But if you have other stuff that I'd love to participate.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. Any other announcements? So Henry's going to send me that information. I'll make it available to everybody in our group, and I'll see everybody next week with the Wheel of Shakespeare. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Mark. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.